Okay, so I start the filming. You can say hello if you want.
Hello.
Hello. David, anything? Hello.
Hi, Amy.
Hi, Tam.
Hi.
We've got Coco and Artie visiting us today.
Hi.
Batu. Okay, Mark. Okay, so we were in the middle of a conversation. Hey, guys. Just talking. We were talking motor neuron. And then the question was, do we video this conversation? Because, Luke, we were talking about root cause on your side.
Yeah.
And, Alex, I know we were just about to talk about how the disease sometimes makes you feel. So I figured I interrupted you only to basically get your comments on video. And so the reason for this video is we know there's a bunch of people out there with the same condition, right? And just looking for answers. Hey, Sil, how are you? Thanks for joining us. And so the thing is, I wonder if we could answer some of the questions, not just for everybody that's here, but just for everybody else that feels like this would be useful. So, Luke, you were just telling us, we know manganese and manganese toxicity is a component to things.
Yeah.
And so tell us how you figured it out.
So I was in the 96th percentile for manganese toxicity. So my manganese was really high. My lead and mercury and all the typical metals that someone would go after or think would be involved with this disease weren't that high. So obviously it left us scratching our head a little bit. And then I mentioned the one day that I welded for a long time. And that was every day, all day. In the military, gunpowder smoke was few and far between. I mean, it happened often, but not that often. But welding was every day, all day when I was in school for it. Right then, the same year I was at welding school was the same year I really started to notice symptoms of like delayed reaction. I would trip and fall when I was trying to run and all that, and that's what kind of was our light bulb moment, our aha moment, saying well, it has to be manganese.
So yeah, you were here in the office at the time. We got a group of people together that all had motor neuron, and we were trying to find the connection. There was somebody else here that lives not too far from you in a steel mill area, and we realized manganese was in the water over there, and then we checked and found it was a high manganese area. And then just to be clear on this whole thing, so we realized manganese was a large part of this, but as well, you know, it's a complicated disease. Yeah. So we know it's not a single thing like a metal. Right? We know instead metal is playing a role. We know that there's a handful of tick-borne things on your side, Luke. We know there's a number of things that are almost synergistically creating this motor neuron mess. And so now our goal is to unwind them one piece at a time, but knowing that metal is involved. Yeah. Mark, you good? You stretching?
No one really thought anything of it, especially my wife and I, because you need manganese. Manganese is a trace mineral. So our initial thought was, oh, we're just showing high sides of that because of vitamins or whatever. But that's not the case.
And then also, just to corroborate this whole thing, it wasn't just manganese that was high. When manganese is elevated, there are multiple other metals that either elevate at the same time or are low. And so the pattern that we saw in your metals, yeah, exactly, copper. Yeah, exactly. So everything was like exactly as you'd expect as far as metals. Yeah, exactly.
I was grinning from ear to ear whenever we were going through that. I wish we got that on video.
Yeah.
That would have been cool.
So this is kind of funny. Artie, Coco, I'm going to put you guys on. So this is kind of funny. This is just talking about how people get this kind of condition. So we were talking to somebody this morning. This is the weirdest thing ever. What we tracked down was a mutation that leads to the upregulation. So here was the complaint of the person that has it. A fungal infection, like this massive fungal infection. And in spite of antifungals, year after year after year, they couldn't get it to go away. And then we realized there's a mutation in that population, the place that they're from, their background, that can increase proliferation of certain kinds of cell lines. And then we realized that their fungal infection is using that mutation to get the upper hand and grow really fast. It's controlling the mTOR p53 switch. And then we realized it was through acetylation and deacetylation. And then, and this is good, I'm gonna come up to you guys, we think we found a solution that is an antibiotic, antifungal, for that exact version of what they have going on. So just talking, Luke, about the fact that it's kind of, it's complicated, huh? How everybody gets this disease. And then the question is, can we get to the heart of it? Or can we start putting together the individual combinations that is happening for each person? Yeah. And from that, then construct something, right? Something to address it. And then, Alex, I know you were just saying, so the conversation we were having. Oh, go for it, Artie.
The way, the kind of detective work that Amy does is so fascinating. That, you know, one from the other to the other, finding those connections and finding that specific medication that could be used as an antifungal, as well as working on that P53 was amazing. And then I was telling Coco, I don't want to leave this clinic. It's because this is so much learning and there's so much happening that doesn't happen in any other place in the world. Mm-hmm. So thank you, Amy, for what you're doing.
Oh, Artie, for sure. So here's something interesting, right? So here's how we know. Hey, Martin, come on in and join us. Hi, we're just talking, and then we got the idea. Oh yeah, come on over. So what happened was, so we checked this whole thing out, right? We know acetylation is a part of this disease. We know that there is an acetylation issue with that fungal overgrowth. And then the question was, if we look up the medication that could be used to treat that, has it also been used effectively in ALS? And sure enough, like the sun shines down, this thing has been used in ALS and has already been used for the sister diseases, both Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. And that's when we were all like, okay, this really would be the thing. I get you on there just to say hi. Yeah, so imagine, really it's the case for every single person, right? A whole totally different cause. And the question is, can we put it together? So yeah, Luke, I totally get your point, which is, in your case, remember, it's to anybody that's watching, it's not manganese toxicity, right? It's manganese and the infections. Hey, Kyle.
What's up?
Hey, Martin. Hi. And then here's something that's interesting. The question is, what would you need to do from an ingredient standpoint to make a Lyme infection more virulent? So virulent is the medical term in the literature when you're looking at Lyme infections, manganese and zinc. Right? So the fact that manganese is one of the feeding systems for Lyme, and so again, remember, imagine manganese and you've got these infections. So this thing just is like a self-feeding loop.
And it's out competing for the copper, right? And you need the copper to staple the misfolded protein.
Totally, copper and then zinc, totally.
I'm a good teacher.
Yeah, you're nailing it. And the thing is, imagine, we know that copper is integral in this whole thing, and the reason that we know that is because copper peptide is something that's already used for motor neuron. Right, so we're playing in the same pond every time, right? It's the same thing. Hey, Vlad, you're welcome to come on in and join us. Okay, you got it. All right, anybody else have any other thoughts in here about what's going on or about your condition? So from time to time, and really, so this is you, Luke. What happened was last time that Luke was here, Luke and Tammy, there's your partner in crime over there. Lisa was here as well, and then we decided to make a video. Luke, you're just cracking yourself up. Luke, you're just cracking yourself up. So we decided last time, the question is for everybody that's out there on the planet, what does a motor neuron clinic look like? And so it looks like this, like for everybody. And then you guys decide, let's make a video so everybody can see how sad and terrible it is, right? And then because you're back, you and Sarah just came back to town yesterday. Tammy, you and David just came back. We decided, okay, just for the sake of it, let's do one more day of what does a motor neuron clinic look like. And so I'll do this now.
Laura Jean is outside. Can she come in?
Oh, sure, of course.
She was smiling and she wanted to.
No, of course. Okay, so then I'll turn off the video unless we've got anything else that we want to video. Here's what I would ask. Because it's motor neuron, so it's such a sad thing, in spite of the fact that you guys look so good and you're getting better. But for the world that feels like this is a disease that's never going to get better, for everybody in the room, motor neuron or not, can everybody please make a sad face to show the world you're sad. You're the face of motor neuron world. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like, right? It's not so scary, right? Right?
I'm gonna do sad faces.
Don't.
No.
All right, and I turn this off.